Hello, my name is Melanie Cobbin. I am in the Educational Leadership Program at Grambling State University, and this is my Educational Leadership 512 capstone presentation. This is the summer of 2016 under the direction of Dr. Hilton Petrie. The title of my capstone project was the study of influence of parental involvement on ACT scores of college-bound students at Grambling Laboratory High School. Just to give you a little bit of the background information, from the beginning of my educational leadership process, I've actually had this in my mind as my research project. Grambling Laboratory High School is currently where I'm employed, and it's a small school located on the campus of Grambling State University, which is located in Grambling, Louisiana. A little bit about the high school. It's a semi-private 9 through 12 high school. It draws students from 6 different parishes in rural North Louisiana. 2015-2016 year at Grambling High School was kind of unique because there was a brick and mortar portion of it, and there was also a virtual component to our school. The study information that I'm about to present you focuses only on the brick and mortar students. At this study, there was a total of 31 seniors and 21 juniors. That was our target focus. A little bit about our idea from this perspective. During September every year, we have a focus on the future parental involvement activity where we meet with parental figures from every grade level. We have a senior day on Monday, a junior day on Tuesday, sophomore day on Wednesday, freshman day on Thursday, and then any parent that did not get to come the other days, we have a makeup day on Friday. And we sit down in 15-minute intervals and meet with each of the parents, and we kind of discuss with the student their future plans. So we kind of start them off early thinking about what they want to do. Well, I teach juniors and seniors, so it was very alarming to me when the parents would sit down and just say, oh yeah, after high school they're going to college. Because actually 71% of senior and junior students stated that they wanted to attend college after high school graduation. Well, due to the more strenuous college entrance requirements, we had a lot of students that were not on target for a 4-year university. Not to say that a 2-year university is not a way to get there. It was just we needed to kind of focus on some of the aspects that we had going on at our school to improve scores so those dreams could happen. So we already have the curriculum in place. All of the students at Grambling High School are scheduled on a Core 4 college preparatory curriculum. That's pretty awesome because in other schools, based on your standardized test scores that you might have had in elementary or in junior high, they might say this kid does not need to go to college, so they put them on a basic diploma track or maybe even a career diploma track. Well, at Grambling High School, we basically put everybody in the classes that they need to go in to possibly go to a 4-year university. We're a smaller school, so we can give students more one-on-one help. Now, on the other hand, all students at Grambling Laboratory High School were qualified for free lunch during the 2015-2016 school year. In this study, there were 51 African American students and 1 Caucasian student. When I started this research project, I was kind of aiming along the lines of focusing on minority students, but I was directed by Dr. Wanjoey just say it was on Grambling High School students because whatever we did, we wanted to see what kind of results we got, regardless of their background. During the 2013-14 school year, Grambling High School was assigned a letter grade of a C. That's the school performance score. You know, there's 4 components to your school performance score at that time, and they were graduation rate, okay, EOC test scores, your faculty and staff certification, and your attendance rate, okay. ACT was also factored into that score. When EOC test results were in there, so was the ACT, okay. So we had that letter grade of a C. But the next school year, the school was assigned a D during the 2014-2015 school year. So we sat down, our school improvements team really sat down, and we compared the 2 school years. And we looked at graduation rates, EOC test results, faculty certifications, and attendance rates. And basically all of those stayed the same, but our ACT test results plummeted. I'm talking like they dropped by half. We were at like a 47% the previous year, and we went to a 23%. So if you see right here, this is our school performance score. This is Grambling High School side by side. It's so different that if you take a look at the things, you see up and down arrows in both areas. But over here, when we were a C school, it says what percentage of students graduated. That was declining. When I tell you that one student not graduating will affect you, it really will affect you. It changes your graduation rate tremendously. Okay? So we actually declined in that area. We also declined on the high school exams, the EOC test scores. Okay? However, when you take a look at us as far as college and career success, we were basically growing tremendously there. Okay? So you see our EOC test scores were down, our graduation rate was down. So here we have something that improved, and we're at a C. So we focused, what did we do? We studied the research and we focused on what we were low in. So we focused on EOC. We focused on our graduation rate. And so what happened was we improved our EOC. We improved our graduation rate. However, when it comes to the ACT score of students who made 18 or above, we just hit the bottom. So that became our new renewed focus. So historically, Grambling High School students have scored lower than district students and statewide students, okay, in comparison. So we got to looking at, okay, who was successful on the ACT test? And we kind of charted it out, and we looked at those students. We had 7 students that were seniors from this year that were basically successful on the ACT test last year. We looked at those students and we said, okay, what do they have in common? A lot of times we found that they were avid readers. And we also found another component. They had tremendous parental support. So, this school year, I developed a parental involvement education program in which parents would work closely with their children to develop an increased emphasis and improved preparation for the ACT test. It was basically 5 in-person meetings, a literacy program, an online study sessions using Kaplan ACT test program, and we asked parents to participate in this to guide their students. We kind of like formed a partnership. And this program provided parents with pertinent information regarding the importance of the ACT, college enrollment standards, and scholarships. A high ACT score for a student not only benefits that student in the way of scholarships and financial assistance, but it also benefits the parents because that's less money coming out of the parents' pockets. Okay? So, when we go back to those Focus on the Future meetings in September, 71% of our brick and mortar students and their parents stated that they have post-secondary college plans. But as of August 2015, only 23% of the seniors and 0% of the juniors qualified for minimum college entry-level requirements. So we had to ask our question, as educators, what can we do to solve this problem? How can we make our kids better prepared? So we developed this program, and we decided to do a complete data analysis with the school improvement team. A needs analysis was completed for the school. And one vital component of our school-wide plan was to work on improvement of ACT scores. So we saw that trend of parental support, like I told you, and once this trend was discovered, a decision was made to develop that parental involvement education program. Now, I say I developed it, I did, but I also had assistance from administrators, teacher leaders, other teachers, and the school counselor. We all kind of worked together to develop this plan, or to make this plan come through. Title I funds were used to purchase the Kaplan ACT program, the STAR assessment, and the Accelerated Reader program, which all of those programs assisted this program. Adopt-a-School partners were also asked to support the program. And a partnership with LASFA, that's the Louisiana Outreach for Students, Financial Aid and Assistance. LASFA was also used to meet the goals and objectives of the program. Now, basically, to entice parents to come to the school, we provided food. So, you know, Title I, you can't really go out and buy food for parents. So what we did was we asked our Adopt-a-School partners to help us. First National Bank of Ruston donated water and drinks. True Care Dental of Grambling donated plates, cups, napkins, forks, knives. The district attorney from Lincoln Parish, Judge Belton, who also owns Wingstop, donated food. And he not only donated food, he also donated money to purchase food from somewhere else. We had Goodwill Lunching, which is a literary organization that most likely deals with elementary kids. They donated books, supplies, gifts for parents. LASFA provided us with little tokens to help students do well on the ACT. For example, we worked out a deal for calculators to be purchased. We worked out a deal for little pencil pouches with pencils and sharpeners and erasers in them. We also had tremendous support from Dr. McJamerson, Achieve Builders. She provided food and assistance, and also the Michael Hunter Foundation. He's a graduate from Grambling High School that donated money to help us provide food for the parents. So at every one of the meetings, not only did we have a meeting that was rich in information, we also had food at the end, which is a good selling point for the program. What were the goals of our program? The goals of our program, basically, we wanted to develop this to inform parents of college entry-level requirements. A lot of them didn't know. In order to understand the financial benefits tied to the ACT score, we wanted this program to show parents that. We also wanted a partnership between parents, students, and educators so we can create an intense focus on the ACT. And here's what we basically wanted to do. We wanted to show parents where the students stood at this time. We also wanted to show the parents where their literacy skills were at that time. And then we gave them information that they could use to help prepare their student for the ACT. So the goal of the program is basically to improve our ACT scores by using this program. So, of course, I went through the IRB process. Approval was granted on December the 10th, 2015 to study this. Parental consent was also obtained. Pre-test scores were recorded for all juniors and seniors. And let me just kind of step in on that right now. Juniors, I told you that 0% of the juniors will qualify for college at the beginning of this school year. Well, none of the juniors had taken the real ACT. They had taken the plan test, which is an ACT predictor test, when they were 10th graders. But when we looked at the plan test, the juniors did not meet the minimum college requirement entry levels. 0 juniors met that. Okay? The first thing that we did was we recorded those test scores, and then we issued parental surveys to access their knowledge of the ACT and their child's college plans and scholarship opportunities. If you look in my paper, there's an example of that research survey. And I've also have the copies and the actual answers from the parents. I keep all of the research basically right here in this binder. I know this is pretty lofty and pretty hefty, but this has all of the parental consent forms in it. It has the survey results, it has the pre-results, it has the literary skills, it also has the data skills. Now I have a copy of this to keep, and also our counselor at the school has a copy to keep. So we have the research at our fingertips at all times. Okay? We also kept the login, parent login, so we could correlate what parent came to the meeting, so we could kind of track that student's ACT scores. And then what we did was, after the April 8th test, we had basically an opportunity to record all of the scores that the students received. The first meeting was held on December the 10th, and some of the students, I had already encouraged them to sign up for the December the 12th test date. The reason why I did that is because I pushed them to take the test as many times as possible. When you're looking at a junior, and it's their fall semester, and it's December, and they have never taken the ACT test before, we are behind the times, okay? We have no real data to work with. I mean, we do have the plan, but it's a different format than the ACT. So that first test in December, not all juniors signed up, but a lot of them did sign up, and a lot of seniors signed up. So that was an initial test that we had to compare. There was also a February the 6th test. There was a school-wide March the 1st test, and there was an April the 8th test. Okay? So we used the baseline scores for what we had, and then we compared the results for all the tests that they took after that. Okay? Like I said, we have 2 binders of this information. One is in my possession and one is in the school counselor. And the stakeholders involved in this program included the school's administrator, the teacher leaders, the counselor, teachers, students, and of course the parents. Okay, so some of the data that we collected, of course we have documents. We have notes, we have agendas, we have sign-in, and we have logs. I have copies of all of the PowerPoints that were presented to the parents at each meeting. I have all the agendas and the sign-in logs from each meeting. I have pre- and post surveys reporting the attitudes and opinions. I have focus groups. Basically, at the second meeting, I said, okay, I'm doing too much talking to you. I'm doing too much talking to you. You talk to me. And so it set up a conversation with the parents where they could express some of their concerns and their ideas and their worries and their problems and their feelings toward this. So we had focus group discussions to kind of talk through those experiences. Also, we had observation. It was basically unstructured evaluation of participant behaviors. I mean, when we ate food at night, what we did was we kind of talked at that time. So we kind of got a real feeling of what the parents thought about the program. And then, of course, our hard evidence, our hard data, was the pre and post plan ACT score results. Okay? I would also like to say that we got our clubs at the school to help out every night served. We had our SGA president, Mr. Fabian Randall. He had the student council, served the food the first night. We had Ms. Deloney, who helped her FBLA students served the food. Miss Barbara Galden had her 4-H club serve the food, and Miss Podial had the Spanish club serve the food. So it was a school-wide, really, program. Okay? So, the current ACT scores and reading levels of participating students will be analyzed with the parents. After this phase, parents will be asked to participate in this program, which will consist of 4 in-person meetings, 3 literary program reading assignments, an online study session, and the Kaplan ACT test program. I know this sounds kind of like this is present tense, and I'm really supposed to be talking about past tense right now, but I want you to pay close attention to the 2016. We are going up. Okay, so we have our junior pre-program ACT plan scores. I have that documented, 21 juniors. Here's their composite, here's their ELA, here's their math, reading, and science scores. Okay? Did the same thing for the senior class. We have 1 through 31. If you will take a notice on the composite score, you will find that we have some seniors. There's a 20, there's a 22, there's a 24, a 20, 19, 18, 19. You'll see that we had some of the students that were there. It was only 7. Okay? If you look at the math component, which is a requirement of a 19, you will see that we have 1, 2 students. That's it. Okay? All right, so agendas for the parental involvement meeting. Every night when the parents walked in the room, their desk was already ready. Okay? There was an agenda. There were copies of the information that we're going to be discussing. Okay? LOSFA provided many of these materials as well as additional meetings. LOSFA provided a Louisiana College Application Month where they paid for the college application of every senior at this school if they would apply to a college. They also had College Goal Sundays, and they helped students work on the FAFSA. Of course, the Adopt a School members, I told you about their meals, and we also had a community grant, and we worked on some prizes for students. For example, one of the prizes, if their parents attended that first meeting, that December meeting, before that December test, they were given a $5 McDonald's gift card to go eat breakfast that morning before the test. Okay, so let's take a look at the parental involvement data. How did it work? Okay, December 14th, the first meeting day, we had 10 parents from the junior class. We had 14 parents from the senior class. That was 46% of the people participating. Well, word got out, I guess, because on our first initial meeting where we really focused, because this December meeting was kind of like an introduction. On this meeting day, we had 65% of the parents from the junior and senior class show up. On January the 25th, we had 54%. Now, on February the 8th, we only had 37%. There's a valid reason for that. There was a gas leak on Grambling State University's campus. Our school was actually released at 9 a.m. that morning, not because we were in danger, but because they couldn't cook lunch. But a lot of parents took the fact that the school was closed, and they thought that we were probably canceling the meeting. So that was an unfortunate thing that happened. On February the 24th, though, we jumped back up and we had 60% of the parents. Okay? From the first meeting, we had 47 days till the actual March 1st ACT test. And that's the date that our Kaplan subscription expired. So parents were given a recommended Kaplan online prep program guide to use so they could work with the students at home. They were really supposed to do about 30 minutes a day, which would total about 1,410 minutes. We did not have a single student that met that requirement. However, out of 52 students, we did have 4% of them use it over 1,000 minutes. We had 23% use it between 500 and 999. 60% at least used it 100 minutes to 499, and then 13% used it less than 100 minutes. Okay? At the end, you'll see, highlighted in green, we have successful junior students. Highlighted in yellow, we have successful senior students. We had tremendous growth, of course, in the junior class, and we also had growth in the senior class as well. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of this program, not a single student in the junior class was deemed college and career ready. Further review of the junior class data revealed that all 10 students who scored the required composite score had parents that participated in this program. Okay? Parent of student 14 attended 2 meetings. Parent of 3, 7, and 18 attended 3 meetings. And the reason why I kind of point that out, and with this 4 meetings for student 5, 12, 16, and 20, if you take a look, that's who kind of I have highlighted there. Okay? The seniors, we couldn't find that great of a correlation with it like we could with the juniors. Okay? But still, at the end of the study, 45%, 14 of the 31 senior class was deemed college and career ready. So at the beginning of the study, you see we have 23, now we have 45. A further review of this senior class data revealed that 85% of the seniors who scored 18 or above had parents who participated in the parental involvement education program. 5 of the 14 seniors, 36%, had parents who participated in all meetings. It's really cool to see someone that's never had the score before that had a 14 on their pre-test end up with that 18 composite. It was tremendous growth. Okay? The parent of student 22 and 28 did not participate in the program, but they did meet the ACT standards. So, that's why I couldn't give a whole correlation to the senior class, but for the junior class I really could. So at the beginning of this is what the parent survey told me. At the beginning of the program, only 51% of the parents knew the requirements of the TOPS program, but after the program, 100% of the parents said they knew what it meant and what it takes. At the beginning of the program, 17% of the students understood college entry level. Only 17, and remember 71% said their students were going to college. And now they know what it really takes. At the beginning of the program, only 9% knew how many times a student could take the ACT test, and now 100% know that they can take the test up to 12 times. Okay? So, as you can see, just for the discussion, I feel like our improved college and career readiness scores will help the school performance score increase during the October release. I think you will definitely see growth there. I do think there was significant growth based on the program, especially in the junior class, and in 4 seniors and the total of 10 juniors that met the requirement. Let me cut the lights off right here so you can kind of see. This is the program in action. This was taken in Ms. Podiel's classroom. The first meeting, that December meeting, we had so many classrooms filled that we had overflow filled. Okay? We had to basically have 4 classrooms working at the same time. And another little side note, I not only had the meetings in the different classrooms, but I also recorded myself just like this and uploaded it to YouTube and provided the link to those parents that could not make it to the meeting. Okay, so they're out there on YouTube as well. Okay, this is the January the 13th meeting. We had canes provided for us. And there you see a senior and a junior parent fixing their plates for the after the meeting. And this is what I'm talking about. We just kind of sat around. Instead of taking their food and leaving with them, we had to-go plates, but they kind of sat down and they still kind of discussed and went over things. This is inside my classroom, and you see I have a student helping us out. You see the parents have all of their stuff in their seats. We're kind of going through stuff. We're kind of going through things that they need to help the students improve. And over here I had a treat that every time a student met that ACT score, they would go on the tree or they would go on the apple, either one. Okay? This is me kind of directing them one of the meetings. And this is Mr. Taylor. We decided to combine our third period senior math classes together and for a month just work on ACT stuff, ACT mathematic facts. And Mr. Taylor was one of our math teachers, and Mr. Ford right there, they were one of our math teachers, and he was explaining what he was going to do. And he, in that binder, he gave me all of his notes and what he did for the students. This is a picture of the office lady, Miss Lawhorn, teacher leader, Candace Westbrook, and my good friend that works at the Lincoln Parish School Board is a transition coordinator, and my daughter passing out the prizes at the end for the parents to take as they go out. And here's a group of the parents that last night. We actually kind of took a few pictures so that we could submit them to media releases. So I just wanted to basically say thank you to all the partners in this study, all of the people here that you see listed below were vital in the development of this program, and they provided a lot of great information. There's one thing that I didn't really talk about on the PowerPoint that was a part of the program, and that was the literacy component. Every end of February, 1st of March, there's a Read Across America Accelerated Reader Day where you're supposed to take as many accelerated reader tests that you possibly could take. And we had books issued by Goodwill Luncheon. They issued books to the students that were kind of on their grade level, and they actually had specific dates to have the books read by and the actual test dates. And in the paper, I really dived deep into the reading levels of the students and just that daily reading practice really being a good component of the program because it helped them be successful. Also, the students Kyra Hill, Tavana Goldsby, Fabian Carter Randall, and Abigail Morris assisted me at every meeting. Here are my references for the literature review that I used in my paper. And that is the end. Thank you very much.